I think we're live. Hey,
Uh-huh.
everybody. Welcome to the YouTube Lead Gen Show, hosted by Christina Smallhorn and myself, Malcolm Lawson. Christina and I have both generated millions of views on YouTube and hundreds of thousands of dollars in commissions that we've earned from leads we generated on our real estate YouTube channels. And on this show, we mastermind about using YouTube in our real estate businesses. Christina, how you doing today?
Good, Malcolm Lawson, superhero to saving all of us from bad guru advice.
There's plenty of that out there,
I
unfortunately.
know. It's so sad. The other day I was just listening to somebody ramble and I'm like, stop it. Stop it. That's not true. Please stop it. And it was another real estate agent. And I was like, your advice is bad.
What's even worse is when you get like these gurus that are not even real estate agents who are telling us what to do. I remember so I started making real estate videos in 2016, and around there wasn't much content or much direction or anybody really doing a whole lot. And I found this one guy who had a whole course that you could buy, and the whole punchline of his course was that you should do a screen recording and talking about every single listing and then upload that video with the listing address. And he's like, look, if somebody searches this listing address in Google, my video pops up of me talking about this listing. And it's just nonsense because nobody goes to YouTube and types in a property address. And like his videos were ranking on Google, but it's below Zillow and Redfin and Realtor.com and all that nonsense. And he was charging people to take this silly course of his, and is all just about doing screen recordings. There's a lot of people that just don't really understand our businesses that are trying to give their inputs. Honestly, even Gary Vee, Gary Vee came out a few years ago with this whole be the digital mayor of your area. And a lot of people started jumping on that bandwagon and having no success with it at all. A few people have, but a lot of people just have not, and truthfully, when you do those interviews with like local businesses, it seems like they don't really do that very well on YouTube. They just don't really resonate with that audience very well.
I started doing it that way. I interviewed businesses in my area, and it did okay. It did pretty good on Facebook because they would share it within Facebook.
Yeah.
The business itself would share it. So that worked out pretty good on Facebook, but on YouTube it was I mean, some of them still get some views, but the thing is that I was spending a lot of time trying to convince businesses, first of all, that it didn't cost them anything. Secondly of all, there wasn't a catch, like they thought it was a catch. And then, so it was like, why am I wasting so much time to do something for free? Like I would get it, up on a Monday, and that was my morning calls. Ooh, let me turn off this. This is annoying. Hold on, it's my Roomba.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you why I'm not a fan of those media mayor things where you're focusing on your businesses in the area. And the reason why is that they don't build an audience. And I mean, they're fine if you already have a big audience. If you have 1,000 subscribers of people in your town and in your community, that's a lot of value to those people. If you have a big email list, that could be a lot of value to them. If you've got a big Facebook group, that could be a lot of value to them. But I see a lot of real estate agents that they jump on YouTube, and those are the first videos that they make is an interview with the martial arts studio in their community. But there's no way that people in your community are ever going to discover that video on YouTube. Nobody goes to YouTube and searches up, martial arts studios in Annapolis, Maryland. And I've seen so many real estate agents that those videos just kind of sit there and they don't really generate a lot of views. And in my view, you need to have that content that builds your audience, and then you have content that provides value to your audience. And you really need to focus on the content that builds your audience first, and then you can make those interview type videos.
Well, with that being said, though, because I did really hustle during that time to get those interviews, those people that I did do a video for, they loved what I did, and they called me, the people that I interviewed. So there's a guy that has a appliance store, and he's bought rental properties, where he's flipped and turned them into rental properties. So I mean, there is something to that. Like, I don't know. The interviews I think are the worst, absolute worst for your YouTube channel or any channel or even Facebook or anything is when you interview a mortgage person and you're sitting at the table and you're interviewing a mortgage person, because it's very uninteresting and you don't do anything other than ask them questions, and it becomes very flat. So if you're going to do those type of like informational interview type videos, try to make it more interesting. Like, I did one video, for instance, there's this thing called naked ownership here in Louisiana, and it has to do with the fact that if you have children and your spouse dies and you don't have a will, they become the naked owners, and their portion goes to the parent that passed away. So they actually get portion of the property. Most people don't know about it, and especially if you're moving away from this, another state, and you don't have a will or anything else, all of a sudden it's a big giant surprise.
And you sure found a way to make that video interesting.
Yeah, I mean and still to this day, even though like it's suppressed content on YouTube because it has the word naked in it, it was falsely flagged, and I tried to get it overturned, but they're not humans. So, but whatever, it's fine. It still ranks on Google. It's a video that still ranks on Google, and it is very informative. Anybody that's from Louisiana that watched that was like, that was a good video, and that information is as boring as Melba toast. I mean, it's just blah, but you just have to make it interesting.
Yeah, I think that's important, taking these kind of slower concepts and trying to make them interesting. All right, we've got a comment from Jeremy. He says, now in my market, the digital mayor video can work well, but I'm in a tourist town, but I don't go in an interview. I simply show off the places because people are looking for things to do in Myrtle. Prime example is that video. Yeah, I mean, and people are probably typing into YouTube things to do in Myrtle. And if you can have your video showing up for one of those search results, that'd be a great way for people to discover your channel and find that content.
It makes sense though, because he is in a tourist area. That would make sense. But I mean, like, no one's traveling to Ascension Parish. I'm going to go vacation in Ascension Parish. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
It's not a thing. Right. So, I mean, that would make sense if you were in a beach town like Palm Beach, Paul,
Right.
That makes more sense.
It is interesting how our different geographical locations does dictate the type of content that we make and kind of our strategy on the platform. I think it definitely can. Like, yeah, if you said, if you have a lot of tourists moving there, or if it's a lot of vacation homes, that may be a different type of content that you want to focus on.
Yeah.
If it's a lot of older folks there versus a lot of military, I have a lot of military in my area, so I do a lot of content focused on them.
Oh, I would. And Malcolm, I was talking to somebody, I really think you could knock this out of the park because you're really good about the financing stuff. And he said he wasn't sure how it is now, but he said that when he was in the military, you're young, you kind of don't know what you're doing. You get this money and you don't have, you just kind of blow it. He's like, if people would have taught me what to do with my money when I was in the military, I would have done better. But it's like a lot of people that go in there, they weren't really raised to understand money. So like if you could focus like a lot of content when it comes to investing in real estate, or even
like a good idea,
focusing towards people that are in the military, he's like, that would be a gold mine, because I wish people would have helped me.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good idea. Maybe I'm trying to make my channel more focused on like the personal finance side of real estate. Yeah, when I got out of basic training in 2006, I went to my tech school, and there was some guy there selling swords and shields, and he said, we'll look up your ancestors, and we'll look up and find a sword that's just like what your great grandfather would have used in Scotland. And sure enough, man, that first 2 weeks I got out of basic training, I bought this $1,000 sword that's a giant claymore like they have in Braveheart, and I still have it to this day.
Is it true? Later.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
okay.
a real solid sword.
No, I didn't know if it was really of your ancestors of the.
It looks like a Scottish sword,
okay.
But I hold on to it, and it's like I every time I look at it, I just regret spending that money. If I would have stuck that money in the stock market instead back in 2006, I would have bought some Amazon stock or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be much better off than having this giant sword that I'm going to be carrying around with me for the rest of my life,
Yep.
reminding me that I spent $1,000 on this. So yeah, we definitely make some silly financial mistakes when we're younger.
Yep.
Jeremy says, the thing I've learned long ago is that each and every market is super unique, and what works here won't work in Maryland or in Christina's market. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's true. I think that we do need to tailor our content to our
Speaking of
local
that,
market.
we were talking about niches, and we were
Yeah,
talking
we were.
right before we started, and I'm like, okay, so when we make these real estate tips, there's more to us. This like kind of segues into there's more to us than just buying a home tips and selling a home tips. I still believe that that kind of content is extremely important that every real estate agent should have on their channel. It's just good reference. It's like an encyclopedia of information. You can give it to home buyers and sellers in your market whenever they're looking for a house. You know, they'll ask questions and it already answers it in a video form. Perfect stuff. But I also think that you need to make content that is just more niche specific. For instance, like I was just saying to Malcolm, he's in the military. He likes the finance. You could tailor that towards more people in the military that need more financial push instead of investing money frivolously, like many soldiers or military do. Many people do. And I think, like in my case, I use a lot of pop culture and
Mm-hmm.
references to pop culture in order to get my message across with real estate. And everybody has their own things. Some people, you know, have it where they interview different industries or different parts of it. I also talk about different types of homes. Amy Haslett's going to be focusing on new construction, which is
Yeah.
perfect for her because
Yep.
she really understands the tools and everything else. So I just believe that if you're going to have a YouTube channel, of course, have those basic tips, but have one thing that you're focused on that your
Yeah.
real estate channel becomes about. Like Graham Steffens is very financial oriented too, but it's a different type of financial. And same with Meet Kevin. He's all about house flipping, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, Kevin's more of a real estate investor. He's really focused on that. Graham Steffen's really like just making money. He just talks
Yeah.
about money and how he wants to make a lot of money. And yeah, I kind of want to change the direction of mine to be more for good financial advice just for the average Joe who's, you know, owns a home. You know, like one of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of home buyers make is refinancing their home way too often. And I plan on making a whole video about how that's such a scam when the banks come to you and say, hey, why don't you refinance your home for get a lower payment on your mortgage?
Mhm.
And it's a scam because your amortization rate, that those first few years, most of your mortgage payment goes to the bank, only a little bit of it goes to equity. So they want you to keep refinancing so that they make more money over time and you never build up any equity in your property.
I had that happen to me. I got totally scammed,
Oh,
but
no.
I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
So a friend like, okay, so this is when the real estate market was just hot in like 2005, 2006, you know, like before it went. So in 2005, a friend of mine was like, yeah, we just refinanced our house. So I bought my house for $135,000. And she said, we just refinanced ours for $220,000. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, they let me just pull out all this money. And so we bought a car and all this other stuff. And I was like, that doesn't sound right.
What a great deal. Free money.
Yeah. I was like, but I was like, when we had new baby and, you know, we had this car payment and I was like, you know what, it'd be kind of nice to refinance, just pull out a little bit of money. And so I could just pay off these credit cards. So I refinanced and I didn't know what I was doing. I just signed the papers and walked away. It wasn't until I got out of real estate school, I looked at that. Do you know how much that freaking that guy got from me?
Oh, what, like his commission?
Uh-huh.
How much?
$10,000.
Wow, for refinancing you. That's crazy. Yeah, man. And that's your money. I'm
That was
sure that
my
get
money.
rolled. That was part of the closing costs that get rolled into your mortgage.
I didn't know how to read it.
Yeah.
And
I
I
yeah.
trusted, she was like, "Oh, this guy's the best. He's so great." And I was young. I didn't know any better. So I
Yeah.
just was like, "Okay," blindly went in there. If I had known that, I would have never $10,000.
And why didn't you become a mortgage lender? Come on, that's money right
Well,
there.
the whole reason I became a real estate agent is I moved here. I was moving here, and I was talking to a person on the phone, and when I met him here, I kept telling him I wanted to move to Ascension Parish, and he kept trying to get me to move to this area of Baton Rouge. He's like, "No, this is better. This is better." I'm like, "No, I don't want to live there because the schools here are free, public schools, and they're really good. I mean, they're one of the few areas in Louisiana that has really nice schools." And he gets out here and he was like, "Oh, well, he was showing these houses that are just awful." He's like, "Well, you're never going to find anything here. You need to go back to," I don't know why he was insistent that I live in this one particular area. I was like, "No, I'm not moving." No. And so I got so fed up with him, I ended up calling somebody else.
Right.
So I was like, "Why? Who is this guy?" So she looks him up, and I found out how much money he makes. And I was like, and and everywhere he sold was that little area. That was his little stomping ground. He knew everybody in that area, so he just wanted to keep his little
Right.
tribe in that
Yes.
area. And I was
I've
like,
seen agents like that.
"That's so crazy."
Yeah, they don't have your best interest in mind. They have
Mm-mm.
or they have their own interest in mind. They
Mhm.
want you to buy a house close to them, so they don't have to travel far.
Yeah.
It's God, it's very frustrating seeing people like that.
Yeah, and every time I don't know, I don't think he recognizes me, but every time I see him at like a class or a meeting and stuff, I'm like, "Hello." I know you. I don't know if you remember me, but I remember you. We left him. Like we told him that we'd meet him in a half an hour. I said, I have a headache. I'll meet you in a half an hour.
Right.
We left him. We never came back.
Oh, good.
Well, I
That's
mean, you
that's
know
what he
what?
did.
That's what he gets for being a jerk.
So let me ask you, do you do money, like home tours, like video home tours for your clients? Do you ever have a lot of clients that are like out of state?
Yeah, that's basically how one of the things that I got started on YouTube. I had a previous channel to this one where I
Oh,
just
what
put,
was that one? I
it's
didn't
no
know about
longer
that.
there. Yeah, it was my actual, it was before.
Like your
Yeah, it was just,
personal?
yeah, it was like it said Christina M. Smallhorn. And
Right.
then I would just put like when people were out of town, I would go through. I had do you remember a flip camera?
Yeah, yeah.
I had a flip, and I would go around with my flip camera and take videos for people. I that was just you just hooked it in your computer and you'd upload it. And then my aunt was moving from out of town, and then I had a GoPro, and I would take the GoPro around all the new construction here in the area, and I would upload it. So yeah, I used to do that, but now as like a little side hustle just to get some extra cash. I have my old company I used to work for. They don't know how to make any videos whatsoever, and I just use my cell phone, of course, and a gimbal, and I film houses for them all the time, because I can jam those out in an hour.
Yeah. I
Film,
I
edit, done.
I actually prefer those, honestly. If I have a client who wants to look at 5 houses and he's out of state, I'm like, "Great, man. I'm in and out of those houses in 10 minutes,"
Hmm.
instead of spending an hour with them. And because
Yeah.
I work a lot of military, I actually had a YouTube lead reach out to me just yesterday. I was talking to
Mm-hmm.
him on the phone, and he wants me to go look at a few properties for him. And yeah, I mean, I just go in there at my phone, I do a kind of a panoramic to show the street and the neighborhood, real
Hmm.
quick tour of the property. I try to show the outside. I try to show all the little blemishes I can find with the property. I
Hmm.
upload them to YouTube. Is I used to try to do a live stream with the person, like on Facebook Live, and that got too complicated. Now
Hmm.
I just record them, upload them to YouTube, and then they can like rewatch the videos. And last year, I probably did 5 or 6 deals that way.
Hmm.
People were out of state. I had a freaking scammer. I'm usually pretty good with the scammers,
Hmm.
identifying them. But I had somebody reach out to me via email. He said he found me on YouTube, and he was like, "Oh, I'm over in Europe right now. I can't come and visit the property. Can you go and I'm interested in buying this house. Want to put an offer in this house right now." I was like, "Well, let me go do a video tour for you." Spent my time, went and did a video tour. I sent it back to the guy. And then long story short, like he wouldn't send me any proof of funds. And he was
Hmm.
like, "How about I just give you all my banking account information, Malcolm, and you can withdraw the money for me. I trust you." It's like, get the hell
Mm-mm.
out of here. Nope, ain't happening, man. This is a
No.
scam.
Yeah, I had one though that came from Germany, and the whole time I was like, "This is a scam. This is a scam." But everything kept going in order, and then And then I got their financial stuff, and it was out of New Orleans. I'm like, okay. So I'm trying to get this mortgage lender on the phone. And then finally I get her on the phone. I'm like, is this a real person? She's like, well, I mean, I've never spoken to them on the phone either. She said, but all their numbers and everything match up. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, do you think it's real? She's like, I'm like you, I'm cautious. So anyways, like it gets to the point where we're in the inspection period. I filmed the whole entire inspection and send it to her. She's totally fine with it. And I'm like, okay, they don't even want anything repaired. This still sounds super fishy. And 5 days before closing, they're like, we're ready to do a walkthrough. I'm like, okay, do you want me to film it? She's like, no, we're in town. And I'm like, really?
Oh.
So I was like, I pulled over the driveway. I'm like, you're real people. She goes, I figured you probably didn't think we were. I'm like, no, I did not.
Yeah, you never know. I have talked to people that were in Europe. And I had some land I was selling, and this guy was like, oh, I'm in Europe right now, and I can't visit the property. And for like a month, he's telling me, oh, I'm in Europe, I'm a doctor. And eventually he did come down, and I showed him the property. He was a real person. So it's hard. And those dang scammers, man, they're so good. I hate it when they call you up. It's like, hey, is this Malcolm Lawson? Yes, it is. Hey, Malcolm, are you accepting new clients? Yeah, I am. Oh, great, man. And then they give you some kind of hook and some kind of sales pitch there.
So I'm going to teach you a little trick about, are you on the do not call list?
Ooh, I don't think so.
I am registered with a do not call list. Okay. So anytime a scammer calls you, you act interested and say, look, I'm about to show a property. Can I get your callback number and your name real quick? If they don't hang up, make sure you get that callback number and name, because they think they have you on the hook. And then you send them a letter to the company, and you tell them, you get the company name and everything else. This is when you called. This is who I spoke to. This was the callback number. And you owe me $1,500. They have to write you a check.
Do they?
They have to write you a check.
Have you ever done that? Have you actually gotten a check?
Yes. It's all over the internet. Like I was like, this is bull crap. My daughter found it. It is a real deal. Wow. The real deal. If you are registered with a do not call list, they don't want you to take them to small claims court, which they will lose. So they just go ahead and just pay you. They'll pay you the fine that they're supposed to pay.
I've always heard that if business to business, that they can call, there's no do not call list for business to business.
If your cell phone is registered and like if anybody's calling you about insurance, anybody's calling you about any of that kind of stuff, then yeah, you're good.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna have to look into that. I'll get that information to my wife. Let her take care of it.
Yeah, tell her to look it up.
If you can make $1,500, go for it.
Yeah, there's tons of news stories on it. Tons.
Yeah, I hate those scammers. They ruin my life. Honestly, it's every day.
It's the emails too, like the emails you get. But as soon as you read the language, I mean, I know I'm not a very good speller. My grammar is pretty poor, but this is like, do they do talk to text and then translate?
Right,
this is not good.
So let me ask you, do you use BombBomb? Are you signed up for that?
I used it for over a year. I did.
Yep.
I used it for over a year. And then I was like, wait a minute. I can do this in a text form. So now I just text people that I can do it myself. I mean, it's interesting. It's neat. It looks nifty. They have a pretty good, CRM within it and everything. But
they have a nice user interface for it as well. It's nice and easy. You can save videos. I could see how it could be helpful. But I'm kind of with you that, I mean, I send a lot of video text messages, especially if I get a new internet lead. If I can't get a hold of the internet lead, I'll pull out my phone and do a really quick video text message and send it off to that person. And with text messages, your open rate is like practically 100%.
Yep.
The emails, even if you do all the work to send a video email, if it's not like a client that you have under contract, if it's just a lead, a really good chance they're not going to watch that video. You still have like a 13%. I think the industry standard is like a 10 to 13% open rate on all emails.
Yep.
And just because of that, I've never really gotten that excited about it. There's also a bunch of free apps out there, or Chrome extensions that you can use that you can do video emails for free as well.
Yeah, they when they came out, they were the first. And then once somebody saw that, they were like, "Oh, well, we're gonna copy it." So there's many other programs out there that do that. They may not have every single function of BombBomb, but it's a pretty pricey product.
Yeah. If it's
It's
what, $50 a month, I think.
yeah, I don't remember now, but it was I remember I had paid for a year, and then
Yeah.
after that year, I was like, "This is kind of silly to pay for."
I mean, I know a few friends that do have it. It sounds like Jeremy has it, and he loves it. And
Mhm.
like one big value, I used to call up all my sellers every single Friday and give them a quick little update about the property. And if your home's not selling, that's a very awkward phone call to get into. So I
Mhm.
know a lot of people now, they just send a video email to their sellers once a week instead of a phone call, and I love that idea. And I know you can
That is
have
awful.
what?
That is awful.
Why?
No, because that just shows you have no balls. No.
Oh,
I mean, come on. No. Put on your big boy pants and make that uncomfortable phone call.
I
I mean,
hate those phone calls.
I don't like him either, but it's like, I don't know. The thing is I always set up my clients ahead of time so that when they come up, I will say, remember when we talked about, da 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 da, and then they'll say, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, they understand. Some people get hostile, but and then I'll just say, look, I explained this to you. You had hopes and dreams that you could not be accomplished. And I knew that. I showed you the numbers.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
So, I
like
mean, so what I mean,
cop out.
I'm still calling them right now, but I do like that idea because I typically call them and I send them an email because in my email, I want to have the feedback from all the clients to show them how many other properties have sold in that community. And it's like, well, why not just do both of those at once? I don't know.
Don't do it. That's horrible.
Horrible idea, Malcolm Lawson. While you're at it, why don't you just slide out your clients? Oh man, that's brilliant. Thank you. Bad idea to DB them to not talk. Slide dialing them. I love that. Yeah, thank you. I might do that instead of my weekly call to them.
Oh, is that when your like your phone kind of sort of rings for half a second, and all of a sudden you get a voicemail?
That's it.
That's so bad.
That's it.
As soon as
I've
I'm
never,
like,
I've never used it. I've been slide dialed many times though.
me too. Me too.
So we had a question, yes, the other day. Let me pull
Mhm.
this up
Oh,
and
look at your little background. Isn't that just so cutesy?
hold on. Here we go. Screen share. I gotta change it. Somebody said the hearts are too big in there. It looks like it's Valentine's Day. All right, so we posted in our group, Real Estate YouTube Mastermind, asking if anybody had any questions, and Paul Lycan had a question. Besides the obvious stuff like making more entertaining and informative content, how do you get people to watch your videos longer? So pretty much talking about audience retention, which is
Okay.
a fantastic topic to talk about because that's one of the most important things on YouTube. What are your thoughts on that? How can you get people to watch your videos longer?
Okay, so I've noticed, like, even for myself, when I'm watching my video, if I'm starting to zone out and listen by listening to my own voice, which I mean, you get annoyed by the time you're editing everything. You're like, God, my voice, just shut up, Christina. But as soon as you're like, like it seems like it's getting a little stale, I'll throw up like a little animation in the corner, or I add like an interesting transition. If I do a lot of sitting down in my office right here where this is the background. So I'll like zoom in the shot and then I'll bring it back again. So that way, it's constantly moving,
Right.
even though the camera's still. But I'll do these shots where they're, it'll be tight in and then pulled back out. I noticed that like even Daryl Eves will do that. I'll throw a little
Nick Newman does that a lot. Yeah, he does
right.
some cropping in and then out.
Yeah, and then I'll do like an animation at the bottom of maybe I'll highlight I'll add some extra context to what I was saying,
Right.
like 1 in 4 Americans, blah 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 blah. I'll give some kind of like fun fact at the bottom. Just anything to kind of add interest to the screen so you continuously get them to watch, because if you just dribble on and on and on and there's nothing that's going on in the screen, people tend to click off.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, for my type of content, I do like to do that cropping in and then cropping out.
Mhm.
And I like having images. I like having B-roll. So I have some stock footage or some videos that I recorded or some pictures kind of going by. And what happens is every time something comes on the screen or the camera angle changes, like your eyes are focused on my eyes when you're watching my video, but your eyes dart over and they look at that, and then they dart over and look at that. and it just causes your brain, it just stimulates your brain. So you're still listening to my message, but it just keeps your brain stimulated while you're listening to me. And yeah, there's a lot of little editing tricks like that that you can just use to keep people stimulated. For Paul specifically, in his type of stuff where he is kind of walking around talking to the camera, he could do more B-roll. He could add some B-roll in there. And then he could also change his camera angle often, kind of like Casey Neistat does, where he'll set the camera up high and then down low and then over there, and then he'll do 20 seconds, and then he's in a new camera angle, and he's just constantly changing those camera angles. I think that would also kind of help keep the person stimulated so that they watch your video longer.
Yeah, because people are bored now. They get bored very easily. They used to sit there. They used to sit there and watch people talk and write on a whiteboard. You know, like people found that they'd like sit there and talk into the camera, turn around, write on a whiteboard. No one's watching that stuff now. Nobody, because like we want more.
Absolutely.
We want more.
I mean, you could take two people with the exact same scripts, and if one person is just standing in front of a wall and it's just one shot on that person just talking, you're gonna get very bored very quickly. And the other person, you know, he could record that same video, but just have editing tricks and have B-roll. And if you have fast-paced music, that also has been shown to keep people's attention. And it just makes it less boring and just easier for our brains to comprehend when there's just a lot more stuff going on. In my opinion.
I agree.
Anyway. Yeah.
I agree. I just, in some cases, you want more like real life situations, and other, like when you're, for instance, when I was in the tiny home, you know, it was more like pretty low key. It was within the tiny home itself. I didn't have a lot of transitions, but I tried to keep as much interest as possible by adding little fun facts at the bottom, and so that way. And I've learned that if you're going to talk about a house, your transition should be about the house.
Yeah.
You know, like any type of, like if you're doing new construction and you're gonna like go from one fact or whatever, just go from that fact, show like about 5 seconds of something about the construction of that house where people can see the inside of it, where you're not talking or saying anything. Maybe you can have some fun music there, and then go straight back to your fun fact and everything. The people want to see the houses, so just know that if you're talking about any kind of house, they want to see the house. They don't want to hear you talk.
I think that's very true. And so like on my, and different audiences kind of have different expectations as well. On my outdoor channel, if I make a video and I have all this fancy graphics in there and it's fast paced, those videos do terrible. They just don't perform very well. On my outdoor channel, instead, if I shoot indoors, those videos don't do very well. But if I go out into the woods and I have these really long, like 2-3 minute long shots, static shots of just me talking, those do very well with that audience for some reason. And all my fancy editing and graphics and music just doesn't resonate with that audience. And I always saw that as so interesting that different audiences may have different expectations as well. No.
Well, you and I both did a tiny home video, and I was like pretty excited because I was feeding my traffic into your video. And since my tiny home videos do so well, I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. You know, like Malcolm's gonna get a big boost on his video.
I would appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's my friend's video, and I found out that my audience wants me to show the stupid house. They don't give two flying poops about the information. They want to see the house. So that was a lesson to me. I mean, that's, and I noticed that as well. And that's so interesting that you had videos getting 300,000, 400,000, 400,000. And then you shot a very similar video, but you're in your studio rather than in the tiny home. And just that little difference, just what your background environment was, it just didn't resonate with that audience. It seemed like it's the same information. It seemed like it's the same pacing and the similar editing. And you had the B-roll of the tiny home, but maybe just being in the tiny home gave you a little bit more credibility. Yeah.
And I jumped on the bandwagon. I tried shooting a video about tiny homes as well here in my studio. It flopped.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, a lot of this is just experimenting and learning what these different audiences want and what their expectations are.
Right. Yep, it is. And, we all learn, live and learn.
All right, so we got somebody, Facebook user says the music has to fit the video though. Yeah, that's true. Be careful with music. It can make people leave it if it does not match what's going on. Yeah. A big mistake that I always made, I made this so many times, is I play my music too dang loud. And
Too
it
dang
kinda,
loud.
yeah, it just kinda it makes it a little bit harder for them to hear me. And then for a while there, I was trying to get some like fast-paced techno music going on, some electronic music in all my videos. And I stopped doing that now. And now I just kind of play like some very quietly. I play some fast-paced or medium-paced piano music.
No.
And nobody really plays piano music, but whatever. I like it. I think it fits my blue background for some reason. I think of blue when I think of piano music. So I'm playing that in my videos now, and it seems to be doing pretty good.
I have a tendency because I'm in Louisiana, whenever I do listing videos, I tend to use like more country kind of sounding tunes.
Yeah, yeah. That's your audience.
Yeah, and like I don't know if anybody knows this, but I am a big giant techno fan, and so I love all that like dubstep and all that stuff. And every time I try to like put that in any video, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this does not fit. As much as I would love it to, because I love this kind of music, it just it's not working.
I was going back and watching some of my older videos, and I had a couple like cringe-worthy videos, and it's just the music. My choice of music was as bad and is too loud. And yeah, if you choose the wrong music, it could just ruin an entire video. Entire video could just bomb because you chose the wrong music to go along with it.
You
So it
really gotta
really is
go with the
pretty important.
feeling. You have to,
Yeah.
like, really go with that feeling. So if you have this, like, super, like, and you're trying to talk about something serious and it's kinda goofy, silly music, then it doesn't really resonate.
Yeah. So for anybody who's watching right now, in the comments of the post, there should be a link, and you have to register with StreamYard, and then it'll show your Facebook profile when you comment on our live stream. So StreamYard's a software that we use. And yeah, if you
Mhm.
guys have any questions or anything you want us to talk about, any insights, by all means, comment below with that. I used hard rock in my last listing video, and it performed really well. Cool.
Well,
Nice. I
there you
like
go.
that.
There you go. But, I do, like, we were talking about, listing videos and filming them and everything. So I wanna give you my tip for filming.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so I use an app called Filmic Pro. It's not that expensive, but it really does work well. I use just a regular gimbal. I have the DJI 3, the Osmo 3. I still go back to the 2 because for some reason, I don't know what's wrong with mine, but it's kind of wobbly.
I've got the
So
one.
oh, yeah, well, whatever, it still works. But
Yeah.
I film everything at a wide angle with the new camera, and then I also film everything at 120 frames per second, because I used to do it 60 frames per second and cut it down really slow, and then I'd walk through the property slow to try to get those nice, smooth, slow shots. Forget that. Just film everything at 120 frames per second. You can get the house done in half the time, and it's so super easy to edit. So I just go, I start with the front of the house. I walk through the door. I just go from room to room, starting with the living room. Then I go to the kitchen. Then I go to the master bedroom, master bathroom, then the other kids' rooms. Then I go to the backyard, like just get it done in order. So that way when you upload it, you just go click, 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 just cut it all through. And then you're done. 2-minute, 3-minute video. Easy. But
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great tip there.
yeah, 120 frames per second. You save a lot of time.
For your tiny home videos, is that what you use for that B-roll? The shots of the tiny home?
Mhm. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. It's just I like, people don't realize, but I use my cell phone. All my B-roll is with my cell phone. Every
Yeah, I didn't realize
single
that.
yeah,
When I saw it, I was like, "What, did she download this somewhere? Where'd she get the shots from?" And
yeah.
it is like some super smooth shots. And
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, God, phones are amazing these days, like what you can do with them and just the quality of that you can get out of them. And it's so much simpler just using your phone a lot of times. I've got some really expensive, complicated equipment, but
Mhm.
it's like it's just so much quicker and easier just to pull out this little thing and just go record some videos on that sometimes.
Well, now that the newest iPhone has its own
11.
has the stabilization in it as well.
Yeah.
So even if you didn't have your gimbal, at least you could still, hold it here and not get like this shot. It's pretty good. It's not bad,
Yep.
it's not offensive. So you can still pull it off even if you just see something cool going on.
I'm an Android guy, and I was thinking about switching over to iPhone just to get that iPhone 11, but then I realized or heard that the new Android phone's coming out next month in March, the Samsung Galaxy S20,
Yeah, I get it.
and supposedly the hardware at least is supposed to be more higher end than the Apple phone.
That's what I've the tech people are like, this is definitely a high competitor to the.
Yeah. Starting price $1,000, but if I actually use it in my business, it's a camera and a phone. Like you're kind of killing two birds with one stone there.
Yeah, well, that I justified this one because I use it. I had an iPhone 7, I think, or 8, like I had an older one. So
Right.
and since I was filming houses all the time, I'm doing it all the time and I use it for all the B-roll shots and everything. I didn't feel like I was doing something bad.
I always break my damn screens on my phone. So
Me
I've
too.
had this since 2017, and for some reason I took it out of the case one day and I sat it on my lap when I was in my car, and then I got out of the car, fell down, and smashed it. And ever since then, there's like crack that goes over this front-facing camera, so I can never really use this to like record myself on my phone,
Mm,
unfortunately, because there's this crack in the camera. It's the
that's
most frustrating
terrible.
thing, and my speakers are all jacked up as well, the microphones and everything. So I definitely need a new phone.
It's time, Malcolm.
It's time.
It's time. You can make it happen.
Yeah, I want to do more stuff on my phone. Tim Macy, right? He had that video he did on his iPhone 11 of him doing this like epic road trip across the country, and it turned out beautiful. Like you couldn't
Mhm.
even tell it's on a phone. It was amazing quality.
Yeah, and then if you're one of these people that is like, into like shooting raw so you can color grade it afterwards, that Filmic Pro, if you buy the extended pack, will allow you to shoot in raw so you can color grade it
Oh,
afterwards.
cool.
So, that I've never shot raw. I don't know.
I
I'm
think
not,
that's an image file.
but you can shoot video in raw too. Like
Oh, can you? Okay.
yeah, like it's like where you color grade it afterwards.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It makes it very flat. Like the contrast is not very high, but there's
Mhm.
much more detail in both the shadows and the highlights. And then you can pull that detail out however you want it
Yeah.
in post later on. Hey, so last time we talked, you got the Rode mic, the Rode lavalier mic.
Love, love, love it. It's the
Yeah.
Rode Go. And this sits on the shoe of your camera, and you put it up there. This is the receiver. And then you have another little device that looks identical to this. And you can either put this in your shirt, but if you don't want to do that, you can add a lav mic, which I had the deity lav mic, which sounded horrible. I
Oh,
mean, absolutely terrible. Had another one, had a lot of weird kind of sound whenever there was a pause. And then I was gifted a Sennheiser lav mic, and it's like the bomb diggity bomb. I mean, it
wow.
sounds so good. So yeah. But even just this alone, like my last video, no, was it the last one or the one previous was just with this.
Hmm.
But my last tiny home video was with this particular microphone. But the newest one that I'll be coming out on Thursday will be with the Sennheiser microphone.
Good.
Oh,
Yeah, nice. And can you plug that into your phone? Can you do that?
I'm sure
You have
you
to have it kind of rig it
could.
up somehow.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. I've seen some kind of crazy mounts for your phone as well. So you can
Yeah.
have like a light and a microphone on there.
If
So
I'm
like,
gonna do anything with sound, I use my actual camera. But if I'm
yeah,
just doing just kinda like, as I'm talking type of stuff, that's all with my phone.
make sure your camera isn't recording on auto volume levels as
I
well.
know it's not. That is correct, Titus. I've learned that. They if you once you get the a Rode Go, just go on YouTube and look for setting up your Rode Go,
Hmm.
and there's a ton of videos that will show you exactly how to do it correctly so your, audio levels aren't peaking and you have like, it sounds really funky.
Yeah. See, so I've got my camera set up that I use here in my studio, and I kind of just want to leave that here. I got all my settings exactly how they want them, and I actually hate it when I have to take the camera out and I have to mess with all the settings again, and then it's never quite in the right position on my tripod. And I kind
Mhm.
of just want to have that and just sit it there, don't ever touch it, and then have some kind of mobile camera set up to as well with a lavalier mic and a
Mhm.
better phone and just kind of use that for my portable shooting. So that's kind of my plans moving forward.
So I have two cameras. I have one that I'd like to keep here at the house, and that is the EOS M50 M50. That's the one I like, the little mirrorless camera
Yeah.
for here in the house. And then I have my DSLR that if I have to go out and I'm gonna, shoot outside, and I don't mind taking that out and about. And it's a little heavy, but I have a pretty decent Manfrotto tripod that kind of levels out. It has a little level thing on there. So yeah, it works out.
I love my tripod. I don't even remember what brand it is, but it's got a ball head, and you kind of unscrew this thing in the bottom, and you can kind of move it around so that you can make sure it's perfectly level, no matter how unlevel the surface is that it's on.
Yeah, you can, like, if you have a tripod that doesn't have that, you can actually just purchase that extra extender that has the ball head on
for it.
Yeah, my friend got me one of those, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know you could buy these." She's like, "Yeah, aren't they great?" So yeah, definitely, you can get those on Amazon. They're not very expensive. So
that's good. Yeah, I'm definitely. I was thinking about this the other day, that there's a lot of people in this space now, and a lot of people doing some really amazing real estate videos. And, if I just kind of stay still and I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to get left behind. I'm not going to be kind of at the front of that pack anymore. And I got to start upping my game. And that's what I really love about these Facebook groups, is that we can see, everybody's kind of sharing their ideas. What are you making that face for?
Because you make very good videos. I mean, honestly, I'm not just like, "Oh, Malcolm, I think you're great." I'm not that person. I'm not that person. But I mean, like, I've never thought, when I was looking at your videos, I'm like, "Oh, brother." I mean, if you think about the people that are in our space, in our real estate space, and I definitely think you're up there with all the other really good real estate type of content. I mean, I don't think that you put out garbage or crap, or I've never thought, "Oh boy, he really needs to step up his game." Never, not once.
That's
never.
what I think, though.
Yeah, but I mean, there's one thing of, like, always trying to improve, but I don't think what you put out is poor quality by any means of the imagination. I love your pacing. And matter of fact, that this last video, I tried to slow down. But when I try to slow down, it kind of makes me sound like I'm depressed or I'm about to cry. But I have a tendency to talk too fast. So I'm trying to learn to talk a little bit slower, because I tend to it's like I'm vomiting words.
I think there is a fine balance with that, because I've had a few videos that I've recorded, and I'm like, man, I'm talking way too quick there. I'm like overwhelming the people. I need to slow it down a little bit. But at the same time, if you do it too slow, people are going to lose attention. And there really is kind of that fine balancing point that you need to find with that.
I'm trying my hardest, because I always have a tendency to vomit words. I'm just kind
And it makes it harder to edit videos too if you talk really fast, because your one word will kind of blend in with the other word, and it's hard to cut it right between those two words.
I will stretch out the timeline like this far for like one little piece, and then I want to get it. I'm like, magic. Magic.
So yesterday I recorded a couple videos, and I went back and I was editing it, and I kept referring to the DJI Osmo Mobile as just the DJI Osmo. And I in the video I said that, and I was like, "Oh no, I can't publish that. The DJI Osmo is different from the DJI Osmo Mobile." But then luckily, one time in the entire video I said it correctly, and I was able to go in there and copy the audio from that one time, and then go back in my video and paste that audio just at the right time in two other sections. So I say DJI Osmo Mobile, and I notice it because you can see my lips moving, but it's not quite matching up. But I don't think anybody else would notice that I had to copy and paste this little phrase a couple of different times in the video. But I love that I can do that. You can fix mistakes like that.
Oh, I know. Like, I have this one where I'm like, just as I'm saying, and I caught the "and" like right perfectly. So you couldn't even tell that it was like two completely different sentences that I blended together. I'm like, editing magic. I love it. I do like, and I like the fact that I can take something boring and add a bunch of animations and interesting facts and things that people didn't know to make that content not as boring. Because honest to God, even Daryl says it all the time. We have the most boring niche to deal with.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys are in the most boring niche.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
agree with that, and I think that you do need to kinda spice it up to
Uh-huh.
make it somewhat interesting. I mean, there's a lot of professionals that do very, very boring videos, they may
Mhm.
know the topic very well, but their videos are just not entertaining, and
Mhm.
because of that, nobody wants to watch them, and I don't blame them for that, you
Yeah,
know?
but there's people that make that work, that who's that guy that he's an older guy. He always does all the financial stuff. He talks about Dave Ramsey.
Yeah,
He has got the most like voice.
right. He's
But
also kind of an a-hole. I think that's what people like
yeah,
about him.
yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah.
He'd be like, "Well, why did you do that? What were you thinking? Well, you're just plain dumb."
Yeah, maybe that's it.
I
But
gotta I don't agree with him with a lot of stuff, honestly. And I have a couple of videos I'm planning to kind of rebuke him and tell him why I don't agree with him.
well, I think he makes some blanket statements, that he's like, "Well, I don't care, it's a blah 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 blah." I'm like, "Wait a minute, that's not true. You're just doing that from your own personal experience. That is not true." You
Right.
know?
So his big thing is that he wants you to only get a 15-year mortgage and he wants you to put 20% down. And that's the only way he's going to allow you to buy a house. And
Mhm.
it's like, man, I don't know what to tell you. That doesn't make any sense. I've bought in 2 houses in my life, and both of them have been the best financial investments I've ever made. And both of them I put 0 down with a 30-year loan. They've both
Mhm.
been fantastic investments. And like he's missing out on opportunity cost when he tells people, save up your money, keep renting, and save up your money so you can put 20% down on a 15-year mortgage. I just don't agree with that at all. And a couple of videos that I want to make just to yell at Dave.
Well, yeah, and you have you have the financial know-how to really combat what he's saying. Like
Yeah.
I could never string together that type of content at all.
Yeah, I
That
mean, that's the kind of stuff I enjoy.
right.
I'm not good at math, but I still like numbers and
No,
you
but
know,
you understand it a lot. Like I'm just kind of more like you can show me and I'm good, but I can't explain that kind of stuff to anybody.
yeah.
There's one thing I've learned about myself is that I I can learn things, but trying to explain them back to people is really difficult.
Right.
Like somebody says, "Oh, can you show me how to edit?" And I'm like, "No, I can't. I don't know how I do half the stuff I do when it comes to editing."
Yeah,
I
you just kinda learn.
You just kind of do it, Yeah.
And I don't have the attention span to actually watch videos on how to edit stuff. I literally just kinda play around with it until I learn something. And
Yeah, unless it was like something like because I wanted to do that split screen where I was on the screen at the same time talking
right,
basically to myself. That was kind of like one of those things I wanted to learn. And then I wanted to be able to make sure it matched really well. And I wanted to learn there's some cool like little things that I do to spice up a video that I learned from watching other people's videos, but I don't spend a lot of time. It's just each video I try to learn something new. So
right.
I'll look up a video edit and I'll maybe add 1 or 2 of those type of edits in there.
Yeah. Yeah, Jeremy, what is the Magic Lantern software? Is that the firmware that you install on your camera? I've heard of people like wiping the software off of their cameras and then installing some kind of firmware on
Mhm,
there. I wonder if that's what he's talking about.
mhm,
Yeah, but most of my editing, I'll see somebody does something and I'm like, how did he do that? I got to figure
mhm.
that out. And I'll just get in there, start playing around. And so I can figure that out. Same thing with thumbnails. I'll see a thumbnail, be like, whoa, that's awesome. I want to do that. How do I do that? And sometimes I'll look it up. A lot of times I'll just kind of fart around until I figure that out. And I mean, that's one of the best ways to learn, I think, is you see an effect and you try to recreate that.
Yep. I think that's the best way to do anything,
Yeah.
honestly, especially when someone's done it better than you and they've done it where they've had a lot of viewers and subscribers. So obviously they're doing something right. So
Right.
learn from the best. That's what I always say.
Yeah. Yeah. There we go. And you're using Final Cut Pro, right? That's what
Yeah,
you use.
I use Final Cut Pro and then I use PicMonkey to edit thumbnails with, which I'm always kind of embarrassed to say in front of people that are huge YouTubers because they're
Right.
like, oh, the only one you can do it with is Photoshop. Photoshop's the only way you can do it. So the other day I was helping somebody with a thumbnail in a group I'm in. So I throw back the thumbnail like, oh, this is so nice. And I'm like, they're like, what's the software you're using? I'm like, it's PicMonkey, and I'm like, it's really like the old school way of doing thumbnails. People don't use PicMonkey anymore. And then this other YouTuber comes in, millions of subscribers, and she says, "Oh, we use PicMonkey. Been using it for years."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yay!" That made me feel better because all the other ones are like, "Photoshop's the only way to do it."
So let me take a look. Yeah, your thumbnails have really stepped up. Yeah, I mean that's a great thumbnail right there.
Uh-huh.
OMG, he wants what? 6 days ago. Choose the right one. Yeah, those things always do pretty well.
Uh-huh.
Louisiana. Did you make this thumbnail or did the other agent?
I made it.
Yeah, no, that's good. Nice bright colors. It doesn't have your signature pink in there anywhere, but you know, you know what I was thinking? Like you could add like a pink flamingo to some of these just to have that pink in the thumbnail. Just to kind of have your thing. This is a really great one. I mean, that's a great thumbnail. That master your thumbnail group. I'm sure, man, they'd be like, yeah, that's a great thumbnail. This one obviously did very well for you.
Uh-huh. I got some flack on that one before I put it out. There's a couple people, and this is one of those things. Beware on who
500,000 views, 500,000 views.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I know, crazy, right?
Yeah. Sorry, what were you saying?
Beware of who's speaking to you. So sometimes when people trash you, whenever they're trashing you, it's not you or your thumbnail, it's them because they need that ego boost. And I've noticed in a few groups there's one superstar that knows everything. There's one superstar that knows everything and they will shred you. It's not good feedback. And sometimes people that are giving you feedback, they're not in your niche and they would never watch your content to begin with. So maybe you should be taking advice from those people because they have no interest in what you're doing anyways. They're doing tech reviews, and what their audience would like is not the same thing as your audience would like. When it comes to real estate, look up people that are having success on YouTube and look at their thumbnails. Then put your thumbnail next to all the thumbnails that you see. So, say you look up 5 tips of buying a house, look at all the thumbnails that are in that line, 5 tips for buying a house, and figure out a way to complement those, but still stand out.
Right.
Don't reinvent the wheel, don't go crazy unless it, calls for that. But, see what's working. And you'll notice that when it's 5 tips to buying a house, the one that just has a house in it, is the thumbnail that's winning. Hate to tell you, it was a hard pill for me to swallow, but I realized I'm not that cute. Nobody cares what my face looks like. They really just want to see the houses. They just really want to see the houses. The only time I show my face anymore now is when I do those react videos because they want to see a reaction to a person's face.
Right. Yeah, this is kind of a hodgepodge of different thumbnails. This video, I mean, I've been watching this one for a while. It's a terrible thumbnail.
But it's 2 years old. It was, and he was one of the first people to be doing these kinds of videos online. He had gotten authority, and so that's why. It's actually that video that says 2 years old. It's 3. It's a 3-year-old video.
Right. Yeah. I can believe that. And it's not even a very good video either. It's literally just him standing in front of a white wall talking.
And he's so loud.
Sometimes there's these anomalies, and if it just keeps people watching, that's good enough. This one here, this is a pretty good thumbnail. That's solid enough. Loan Officer's Guide, Home Buying 101. Yeah, I actually kind of like that thumbnail.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, 100,000 views. And then Dave Ramsey, of course, he's got some good solid thumbnails. He has these bright yellows that he uses, and yellow really stands out on the platform really well.
But look, you see, Graham Stephan is a top YouTuber, really, honestly, in our niche. Look at his 5 things everybody needs to know when buying a house. Look, it's a freaking thumbnail with a house only. It doesn't have his face in it. Scroll up a little bit where you were at the beginning. Look, just a house.
Yeah.
One word, sold. It's like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I get you. I'm not wild about Graham Stephan's thumbnails, but I think
People
he's
click
just
on them. That's like you're everybody's missing the point. As much as you might hate a thumbnail, if
yeah.
people are clicking on them, then they're doing it right.
So I think you know what? So look at this. 1 day ago, 4 days ago, 6 days ago, 1 week ago. So within a week, he's published 4 videos. That's his secret. He's going after that volume. He's putting out tons of content, and maybe one out of every 10 or 15 will take off and get 1 million views, and that's going to send traffic to his other ones as well. Yeah, his thumbnails are all very basic, but I mean they work, and he puts out so much content. That's what I need to do. I need to just sit down and just start pumping out some content. But
It's hard
I
though. Like, he's got people that edit for him, and
probably
editing takes the most time.
that's probably true. Yeah. He probably has somebody like write scripts for him and edits and does thumbnails. He probably
Well,
just has to
he's
film
pretty
it.
clear on what he's speaking about. So I think a lot of it is just that you know it. It's kind of like
Yeah.
when somebody asks you a question about real estate. You don't even think about the answer. You already know it, and you're just pumping out the answer. So
Yeah.
that's all he's doing is pumping out the answer. When someone is asking him a question, he throws it to his editor. His editor makes some cool, fancy animations. I think that he has somebody. And there's no way you could put out 3-4 videos a week and not have an editor do it for you. I mean, it's just too much.
Yeah. So let's see. Jeremy before was talking about let's see. Yes, it is firmware that allows you to do much more things in Canon. Like
Mhm.
for example, if it would allow you to do audio adjustments, adjust lighting, do time lapse, etc., but avoids warranty on your device, and if it doesn't install right, could make it a brick. So I've never done it on my DSLR.
Christina says no. No, Christina says no. I'm not doing that. Nope. Nope. No.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I've
I know
thought about
people.
doing that
Mhm.
on my old Nikon. I've got 3 freaking DSLR cameras, and like I never even bother selling them. Like I know I should, my old ones, but it's just I don't feel like doing it.
I know what you're saying. I know because I have my DSLR there, and I have yet to have used it since I got my new camera.
Yeah, you just don't need it anymore. So if
I
I would have
know,
installed
but
some
I can't
firmware,
let it
and
go. It's like losing a baby. I can't
so
let
Jeremy
my
says
baby
it
go.
proves that first to market is just as important as being an authority. It can definitely help. Yeah, first to market can definitely help. Um, you can be second to market though and still succeed. There's probably plenty of examples of that.
Oh, you could like this.
Yeah.
My biggest fear, honest to God, is ever like I know that sounds really egotistical, is becoming the top of the real estate YouTube game. Like that's my biggest fear because who am I gonna rip off? Like that's the whole thing is you're following other people's momentum. You're
Right. Yeah. Once you got nobody else and everybody's chasing after you,
yeah.
it
Then
is
what
a
do you
little bit of
do?
a different dynamic there.
Yeah. So no. Mm-mm.
And you're not really ripping anybody off. I don't see Graham Stephan or Meet Kevin making videos about tiny homes.
No, but the thing is that like I think it was Jeremy Vest yesterday was quoting Brian G. So I don't know how true this quote is, but he said instead of reinventing the wheel, just rip off everybody else.
Right. Yeah.
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 And
A lot of big YouTubers, that's what they do. They not necessarily rip them off, but they take a concept and they make their own video about that.
I just did that. I'm doing that currently. I did a rip off of a video that Kevin did, but it falls along with the content I was already making, which was the DIY content. But I'm doing it in a different way. I'm doing it more in the way that he had it. His video is 18 minutes long. I think mine's only gonna be 10. I don't know if it's gonna
Right.
resonate as well. Like if it was closer to the 14-minute mark, I would be happier. I don't know if I might throw in a few minutes of extra content. I might think
Yeah.
about
Well, you
that a
did
little bit
that.
more.
You did that one video or one of your videos that just had the B-roll and then just some text displaying over top of the B-roll. And it was
Mhm,
a slick shot. Even if it was like 10, 15 seconds of just
mhm,
your tiny home B-roll with some text displaying and it looks sharp.
mhm.
So yeah, you can throw that in there a few times and see if that could kind of extend that people's audience retention.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, there we go. All right. So somebody said, yes, I think the key is pumping out content. I think that certainly can help, you know, and it's a real balance, quantity versus quality. And you really
Quality
have to,
over quality over no, just quality. Like,
well,
I mean, honest to God, and
yeah,
then and like this is the whole thing is that it's been proven, people that like they're like, oh,
nowadays, I think it's changed in the last few years.
yeah, it totally has. It
Yeah.
100% has. 2 years ago, you could have done it every single day, but people 2 years ago started doing it every single day, and they were like, "How come I'm not growing?" Because that is not how it works anymore.
Yeah, I
You
agree with that.
actually exhaust the algorithm, so you have to space out your content correctly. You have to pace it right, so that way the algorithm can know what your content's about. If you're just keeping dumping and dumping and dumping videos, they're like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
You
And I
have
mean,
to know.
yeah, I'm focusing more on quality now. I'm spending more time working on my scripts,
Mhm.
um, and more time editing. And because of that, I'm not putting out weekly content anymore. Because I've put out plenty of videos that I publish and they just bomb. They don't get any views. I don't want to do that. I don't want to put out a video if it's not going to get a lot of views. So I want to put a little bit more effort into it, knowing that it's going to get views. And the way I look at it though is it is kind of a spectrum, and you have to get to like good, like actually better than good. You have to do a pretty good quality video,
Mhm.
and then that's good enough to publish. Like you don't have to be
Mhm.
a great video or an amazing video. Right now, it just has to be pretty good.
Mhm.
And once I get to that state, then I'm like, okay, I'm done editing. I could edit more. I could add more stuff, but it's pretty good, and I'm ready to publish it.
And I wouldn't regret ever spending that kind of time that you did on videos that you feel like bombed, because what happens is that when you do have a video that blows up, you're going to find some loyal people that will
Yeah,
watch every freaking video you've ever made. I have like a good 20 people that literally watched almost every single video I had, one right after another, commenting, liking, commenting,
I've
liking.
done that to YouTubers. I've gone in and watched every video that I could that they've made.
Yeah, so, don't ever regret taking the time on a video that you feel like didn't do well, because
Yeah.
they will get found again no matter how old they are.
And how I look at it, you know how they say you need 10,000 hours to master anything?
True.
And that's what I'm putting in. I'm putting in that 10,000 hours. And I've been at this for about 6 years now, just pumping out content and experimenting, trying to grow. And yeah, if I do a video and it doesn't do very well, well, I learn from that. I get some more experience editing and got a little bit more familiar with the algorithm. And yeah, I mean, to your point, I've had plenty of videos that bombed at first, and then a
Mm,
year later, they finally found the right audience for them and it really takes off. Even
yep.
videos that I wouldn't expect.
Mhm. You just never know. So I don't think anything trumps quality. I don't
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
anything,
Quality
because
is really what I'm focused on now, much more than quantity.
because
So
there
Jeremy,
so one video pops up that was, like, really old, and you're like you're just trying to get it done, and then you rewatch that video, you're like, "Oh, people saw that."
yeah, let me show you something. Let me show you something. So right now, if you type in, selling your home, something like that,
Mhm.
I actually watched this video the other day and it was terrible. So this was before I had an automatic focus. I'm out of focus in this. This entire thing, I am completely out of focus, and my white balance is all off. My white balance looks really funky for some reason. I look like I have chalk on my face. The lighting isn't very good. You can see the shadow. I had my white balance set to, I had my exposure set to automatic. So if I get close to the camera, it adjusts the exposure. Like, this is a terrible quality video. Yet it's doing very well for some reason, which is really weird.
I don't think it's as I think you're
I mean, maybe I'm judgmental,
yeah, you're over picky big time.
I think this goes back to content quality is more important than production quality.
Yeah.
I'm presenting the material in a way that's keeping people's attention and keeping the flow going, and that's more important than the fact that my white balance is off and my image is out of focus, and the music was too loud. Let's see. You can't hear the music. There's a couple spots that the music was just way too loud.
Well, whatever though, it
I'm
worked.
Yeah, I mean, I had to make those videos in order to get to where I'm at right now in
Mhm.
terms of, production quality.
Yeah,
So
it happens.
it happens, yeah. Jeremy says, Malcolm Lawson, while we may not like the thumbs, it doesn't matter. He's the one with many more views and subs than us. Yeah,
Mhm.
my grand Stefan. Yeah, he's pumping out that content. And he's, on that spectrum of amazing quality to not very good quality. He's at like okay quality, but he's pumping out a lot of content at okay quality, and or maybe maybe good quality, but that's his model. And yeah, you can definitely follow that model.
He's interesting though. I don't know how, like what
His presentation is pretty unique. How he
yeah.
presents that information.
Yeah. And like I
He has
was
this like
watching
arrogance to himself. Like you look at him and be like, yeah, that seems like a rich how a rich person would talk.
right, right. But you know, like that Meet Kevin has a whole different personality. Like honest to God, he's not like the person I would listen to as a YouTuber, but I know that other people listen to him. And so I don't know. I just like obviously there's an audience for him.
Yeah,
And but I do like how he's a little bit more casual, I guess you would say.
meet Kevin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with some of the like his fonts are kind of more playful.
yeah.
You know, his lighting's a little bit less stuffy and professional. It's more like fun and almost gamer like, you know.
And he talks about how he's friends with Graham Stephan, and Graham
Yeah, they
Stephan
are.
encouraged him to get on YouTube, and
Hmm.
it's great. I'm happy to see that he came up with his own unique style, and most of his
Hmm.
stuff, a lot of his stuff's just like shot on GoPro, and
Yeah.
it's a real shaky footage, but he's got his own personality, and it's
Hmm.
still entertaining.
Hmm.
Somebody said yes, Christina Smallhorn, 100%. So I think talking about content quality versus or uh, quantity versus quality.
Yeah, quality. I think quality trumps it all. I mean, I would rather, I would rather somebody spend 2 weeks making a really great video than 1 week of making something that they weren't proud of,
Yeah,
honestly. Give the DSLR to the kids and want to start a YouTube. Honest to God, I'm not kidding. I had a Nikon. I gave it to the children and it sat in their room and they did nothing with it, not a thing. And literally, after a year, I'm like, I'm selling this thing. So I did sell my Nikon before Christmas, right before Christmas, but they won't do anything with it. Now my youngest one wants to be a YouTube star. So you know what? That's not a bad idea, Jeremy. I might let her have her the Canon, the other Canon, the
so
DSLR.
somebody's talking about publishing once or twice a week. Yeah, I mean, if you can do it, great. I personally just struggle to find the time, being a full-time real estate agent. And I wish I was a full-time YouTuber. I wish, I've had days where I've written a script, I've recorded a video, and then I've edited and at least edited and published a video, put it all in one day. And I mean, I could absolutely see myself pumping out 2 or 3 videos in a week if I just had that time and I was just focused and really dedicated to that.
The only like I used to do 2 a week, and I would do one on Tuesday and one on Friday. And the one on Tuesday was my edited tip video, and the one on Friday was more like a vlog of some kind of local real estate stuff, like whatever it was, something local. But it was just
Mhm.
the vlog of my day. Um, and I could get that done because the vlogs are pretty easy to edit, no lie. Because you don't have to have fancy music, and it was less editing for me. But nobody watched that. Honest to God, I hate to tell you this, everybody, but nobody cares what you do. They want to know what you can do for them. Just saying.
Yeah, a lot of people, they start channels with the vlogging and it just doesn't work. Peter McKinnon is a great example of that. He started his channel with vlogging, and you can go back and look at his first like 20, 30 videos. They don't have many views at all. And then he started publishing discoverable content, started publishing video tutorials, teaching people how to make great videos. And those ones started blowing up. And then from that content, he built an audience. Now he has an audience. Now he can do vlogs, and he actually has an audience who's interested in those vlogs. But
Mhm.
building an audience from your vlogs is very difficult. Aside from Casey Neistat, there's not many people who can really pull that off. A lot of people, they
Unless you
do.
have a super mega interesting life. Like if
Yeah,
you are like super rich, you get,
yeah,
like
yeah.
you have a maid that cooks your stuff for you. You have a wild group of friends that you all hang out and, like that's interesting. But no one gives a flying flip about your real estate deals. Just saying.
Yeah. I
Nobody
mean,
cares.
can you imagine like every vlog would look exactly the same? So
Yeah.
there's a real estate agent that does vlogging, and he's
Uh-huh.
been at it very consistently. He's in Silicon Valley. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
Let me pull up his channel, see if I can find it. Silicon Valley.
But that is an interesting area. I mean, it's full of the tech industry, you know, like.
Yeah, this guy, Danny Gold.
Oh, I have seen him.
So truthfully, he's kind of obnoxious.
Yeah.
But all he does is these vlogs, and God, man, he's been pumping them out, and
Did it
he's been at it for a long time. But like, they're not like not that great. And like, he's trying to build an audience from this, but
nobody cares about you. Like, I hate
no,
to say it. How long has he been on this?
a
Doing
long
this?
time, a couple of years, I think. Let me see.
About section. Go to the about section right there in the.
Let me do the other way. Date oldest.
But
He was doing it daily for a long time. So 5 years ago was some of his first videos. 3 years ago.
see, that's when you just need to realize that people just don't care what you're doing.
No, 54 views, 74 views, 51 views.
Mhm.
And he's kind of obnoxious. He's kind of got a big ego. He's like a young guy, and I don't really enjoy watching him, but I just kind of keep tabs on him because he's in the real estate niche. But yeah, if he instead made content like about his local area, built up that audience of people in his local area, then those people may actually be interested in him vlogging within that city. But I don't even know who his target audience is. I don't know if he's
Mhm.
going after other real estate agents or if he wants people in his area to watch him.
He wants to be a personality because I've
Yeah,
seen him before. He wants to be on $1 million listing. He wants you to be interested in how awesome he is because he's a real estate agent.
but let's see how many videos he's pumped out. He's must have pumped out a lot of videos.
He joined in 2014.
Isn't there a way to see how many videos the channel has?
Yeah, if you go back to home,
Home.
put to Channelytics, hit the Channelytics from TubeBuddy,
Oh, look at that.
and it should say, where are the stats? It should be views. And
Compare stats. Let's see.
why is it not showing up?
So what I do, I'll just go to like Social Blade,
Mm-hmm.
look him up on there, and that should tell me how many videos he's got.
Oh, you were checking me out on social
You caught me.
media.
You caught me.
Someone's spying on Christina.
279 videos, and he's only got 150,000 views. Yeah, I mean, he's just kind of spinning his wheels with these vlogs, and he needs to just mix it up. He needs to put out some educational content, build that audience, and then he can put out the vlogs, and people will be much more interested in them that way.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't care. Like, that is one thing I know for a fact. People don't care about you. They want to know what you can do for them.
Yeah, and a lot of people just are not very good at vlogging. It's not about documenting your day. It's more about telling a story. Yeah, so he had almost 300 videos. I got 74 and like twice as many views as he has.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just the type of content that we're creating. That's the only reason why. So let's see. Jeremy says, I'll take quality over quantity. Look at many of the new gaming channels where they push out 5 videos a week. None of them are getting the numbers of views that people like Ninja and PewDiePie get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm all about quality over quantity. Now, to touch on that, though, Gary Vee talks about how in each vertical, there's only going to be so many winners at the top of that list. And once they have that, they kind of have that presence, it's much harder for anybody else to come up. The gaming niche is so saturated right now. It's so hard for anybody to create a new gaming channel and really stand out. And I think that's why, PewDiePie is dominating Minecraft and Ninja is dominating Fortnite.
But once you get comfortable, there's going to be somebody else that comes along. So
Yeah.
never like like people always get like to this point where like, oh, YouTube's dead. No one's ever gonna. They only hold up the big YouTubers.
I don't think that's true.
No, it's not true. It's not. It's just you being a baby. Like learn how you do YouTube. It just takes a minute. You're not gonna upload 5 videos and become a YouTube superstar. Those days are long gone. You're gonna have to work. It's a job. It is a job. It's a second job.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Beast talks about that a lot.
Mhm.
That it was like he could start a brand new channel right now, or he helps people. He kind of mentors people
Mhm.
to start new channels that have no brand awareness whatsoever. He's not in the videos, and their videos are blowing up. And it's more about knowing what kind of content people want to watch and will click on, and how to keep their attention. And if you can do that, any video on any channel can blow up. And I definitely do believe in that.
There's a little bit of psychology involved with video making. You have to, like, it's hard when you're in it to step out of it and watch it,
Yeah.
and you have to have those people that are not the yes men that will actually tell you, hey, that part just looks weird. Not that they're being mean. They're giving you like I wouldn't say that, or you repeated yourself there, and be willing to hear that kind of information instead of defensive. Um, that like those are hard pills to swallow, but if you can fix it and make a beautiful video that way, then do it,
Yeah,
like
my wife's that person for me. She's pretty critical of my videos, and and sometimes you get blinders on when you're making a video, and you just get into this routine, and you just don't notice these little obvious things. And like I say, in one of my last videos, I fully edit it and I publish it. I was like, man, this is great. I spent a couple hours on this, and I show it to my wife, and she's like, I can't really understand what you're saying because there's somebody singing in the background. And I was like, oh yeah, why did I not see that? There's somebody singing when I'm talking. Like, you can't really understand me. And I don't know why. I just didn't even like acknowledge that. And yeah, I got that good feedback from her before I published the video.
Yeah, my husband is not that person for me.
I know.
He like I just wanted him to listen to what I'm saying, and he will find literally one frame that snapped that no one would ever notice. And he's like, and he sits there and he's doing this, and he's like, oh, I just saw this frame, like, look right here. And I'm like, really? Out of that whole thing, you just spent the last 30 minutes to find that one little flicker?
Yeah.
Really? Like that, he's the one that drives me absolute. I cannot, like, whatever.
Well, that goes back to what I was saying about if you can make a video that's pretty good. It may not be amazing, but like if it's pretty good, like that's good enough to publish. Even if there's little mistakes in there and little, stumbling on your words, it's good enough to publish. You don't have to put in another 2 hours to make it 100% perfect.
I know. And he's like, this is why I can never do YouTube, because I'm too picky. I'm like,
yeah,
then get off my ass.
One video every other month.
Yeah.
And you're not going to learn that way. We've all heard the story of the art instructor who had his class in 2 different groups, and he says, hey, I want you guys to make as many pots as you can in 1 hour. And the other group, he said, I want you guys to only make 1 pot, but you have 1 hour to do it. And after 1 hour, he compared the quality of those 2 pots. And the people who only made 1 pot, their pot was terrible. It's the first pot they've ever made. They didn't know how to make a pot, and it was just terrible. The people who pumped out all the pots that they could in 1 hour, their final pot was great because they had so much experience with that. They've done so many of those that they really got that down. So you really do need that. You need a little bit of that quantity to get to that quality.
Yeah, because you mindlessly do it. It's kind of like, the thing is that we're in real estate. And when people ask us a real estate question, you're not thinking of the answer anymore. It just comes out and you're just information.
What are your 10 tips to buy a home? I can make a video right now about that.
Yeah, but nobody, like, the other people don't know that, it's like, it took years to get to that. When you first started, you couldn't do that. You're like, get a mortgage. Like, like that. You didn't know that when you first start.
So we got a question here. I think you and I are probably gonna be on the same page about this. I do have a question for both of you. Where do you market your videos? Facebook, Instagram, your sphere, Facebook groups, not real estate related? So how do you drive views to your videos? Where do you market your videos, Christina?
I market my videos within YouTube. I don't go outside YouTube. So, and then when I upload a Facebook video, I let Facebook do its thing. And when I upload a YouTube video, I let YouTube do its thing. I'm trying to keep my audience within the sphere of where they're at, because a user of YouTube is not the same as a user of Facebook. A Facebook user is not the same as an Instagram user. Instagram user isn't the same as a Snapchat user. So I tailor that content for those particular viewers. Just like a lot of people, I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook, but I know that Facebook likes square videos where you have like a little caption at the top and the bottom, and they like the captions to show up where you're reading them, so that way they don't have to have sound on. That works for Facebook. That would not work for YouTube. But I would take that same exact video and do that for Facebook if I wanted to spend time on it. because you have to tailor the content for the type of style of viewer is on that particular platform.
Yep, I agree with that. I don't really focus too much on sharing my YouTube videos to other platforms. I do sometimes, but no, not really. It's very hard to get people to jump from Facebook or Instagram over to YouTube. And even if you had 10,000 Instagram followers and you set your Instagram link to your YouTube channel and you made a vertical post saying, "Hey everybody, go check out my YouTube video," you're not going to get many people to actually go and do that. And YouTube has billions and billions and billions of users. It's huge. It's almost as many monthly active users as Facebook. And there's plenty of people on here to watch your content. And we should really be focusing more on just optimizing your content for this platform to get views from the platform itself. Now, the only exception I'll make to this is that sometimes on some of my videos, I'll share them to Reddit, because Reddit plays pretty well with YouTube, I think.
Right. They do. But you know what? To make Reddit really work for you is that you get somebody else to share your video on Reddit.
Yeah, that could work.
I've already there's people that I know that are YouTubers that like they have like almost
they do
like
that for each other. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I've done a lot of videos on Reddit, and most of them don't get any traction whatsoever. I kind of have an idea which ones do now. So for example, I just did a video, 10 hacks to pay your mortgage off early. And I shared that one in a few Reddit groups on like financial freedom and living debt free. And is like very relevant to those groups. And I can see in my analytics, I probably got maybe 100 views or so from those Reddit groups over to my thing. But out of the 1,000 views that I've got, it's not huge, and it's kind of dried up already. I'm not consistently getting any more views from Reddit right now. So yeah, I'd say focus. There's plenty of users on YouTube. Focus more on optimizing your content for those users on YouTube.
Right, because the content that resonates really honestly on Facebook does not resonate the same on YouTube at all.
A Facebook video a video optimized for Facebook is very different than a video optimized for YouTube. It's just the user intent and the experience. The users come on to YouTube and they typically have more time. Their session time on YouTube is typically a lot longer than on Facebook.
Oh yeah,
like
absolutely.
If I'm standing in line at the grocery store, I'll pull out my phone and pop on Facebook for 30 seconds and then pop off. And that's very common on Facebook.
Yeah, but on YouTube, people will spend hours. I actually every night to go to sleep, I put on a boring documentary. It can be about anything. I like every single night I listen to a documentary to go sleep. I go to sleep to YouTube.
Yeah, no, I do that too.
Okay, well there you go. That's how I go to bed.
Is that a sign that we're both like obsessed with YouTube?
I might be. Well, we've already said that. We both have a problem. We're YouTube geeks, but I really do enjoy this platform. It's like a puzzle I just feel like I need to solve. And every time I put a puzzle piece in, I feel like they go, right. You thought you had that in there, but you didn't quite have it in. You may want to try that again. And I'm like, it's so close. I really do like the platform a lot.
You know what I like about it? You have these, it's a silly reason, but you have mobile games that like you build a farm and then you come back in an hour and they got all the crops on the farm, right? It's just passively making progress. And that's what YouTube's like that. I'm getting about 8 to 10 subscribers a day on this channel. On some of my other channels, I'm gaining, 20, 30 subscribers a day. On my outdoor channel, I'm getting like 4,000 views a day. And I'm just growing. It's just growing that channel like while I'm sitting here. And I just kind of like that aspect. It's a game. It's like gamifying the entire thing. It's very much like a game with all the numbers and all the winners and all the prizes. And the ultimate goal right now is to get that silver play button at 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, I haven't even thought about the play button part.
That's attainable. That's not unattainable right now.
I don't think it's unattainable. No. And like somebody's like, oh, well, who else who could? I'm like, really? I'm going to show you a few channels that could have that. Like it's possible. It's totally possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you gained 10,000 subscribers in 6 months or so, something like that.
Yeah. Well, since October, I mean, I was at 3,500 in October, and now I'm at 16,000 subscribers, 16,200 to be exact.
And I mean, your videos are still blowing up. That one that's at 500,000 views right now, that was at 300,000 views not that long ago, just a couple of
Right.
weeks ago. And you're still pumping out more and more content. You're gonna have more and more winners like that. I mean, 100,000 subscribers, not unobtainable. That's a very real goal that if you get really purposeful, I think you could hit that within a year. I just hit 55,000 subscribers on my other channel. And now I've got the silver play button in mind. I'm like, man, I'm more than halfway there.
Right.
Maybe I ought to come back to this channel, start pumping out some content about it.
Just to I don't know. It's just one of those things.
I would love it. I would love to have a silver play button right back
Me
here.
too. I would totally post like in every video. It would be right
Right.
there with a light right on it. Maybe have like even
just wear it around your neck, a big gold chain. Hey, everybody.
I'd have that constant like angels in the background. Oh, you know, every time you walk past it, like the light would shine on it. Oh.
So somebody asked, what are your thoughts on the real estate niche?
What are my thoughts on the real estate niche?
Yeah. I would say it's kind of a new frontier, and there's really not that many people in this space.
It's wide open.
Yeah. I mean, you have that Javier guy that you've talked to. He's making a lot of consumer education. He's 15,000 subscribers. I remember looking at his channel a year or two ago, and he's just a few thousand. Yeah, he's really blowing up, and he's getting really focused about doing a lot of consumer education. You had that other guy. He's in Virginia that I talked to, that we looked at his video. That
Matt
had like
Layton.
Yeah, he had like 200,000.
I met him at Vid Summit.
Oh yeah.
Sure
he's in Virginia. I should go say hi to him. He's not that far.
If you do, tell him I said hi.
Yeah.
I met him.
And so he's kind of doing his own little thing as well. He's really using it for lead generation. And then you got there's a lot of real estate investors in this niche. Meet Kevin. And there's like, that's about it. That's all the big players in this real estate niche. There's really there's no huge real estate agents with the silver play button in this niche. I'll put it that way. Not yet.
No.
And that could be, it's ripe for the picking. I really think so.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm like, I would like to be the one that does it. Just to say I did.
You got to keep at it, and
it'd be kind of cool just to say I had it.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's kind of like one of those things. Like when I first started, I'm like, oh, I'm never going to get monetized. That's not my goal. I don't care about getting monetized. I'm just making videos. And then I got to the close to that point where I was like, you know what, maybe I should do monetization. So then I turned on ads and I'm like, oh, this is kind of nice. Just a little extra spend cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was like, I started getting more and they were like, oh, do you want to, or like how much you make it? I'm like, oh, I'm actually doing pretty good. Do you want to get bigger? I'm like, nah, I'm doing fine. This is good lead gen. I don't want to put up that much, like, and then like that contest came about and I'm like, you know what? I really want to.
You gotta click it to
click it and buy a ticket. Yeah. And then I was like, yeah, I'd like to. And now that I have like a taste of like what it feels like to actually have videos that just do like super good, I was like, I want more. I want more. It's like heroin,
Yeah.
I totally did.
You've made the equivalent of like 2 small commissions this year just from ad revenue, or last year.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the end game right there. You're making commissions and not having to actually work for it.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah. So if you had 100,000 subscribers, so you had 10 times as many, a little bit more, a little less than 10 times as many, you probably make 10 times as much money. Like that's a full-time income right there. You can make just from ad revenue. If you got to that silver play button. Yeah. You can see the path, can't you?
Yeah. But like, the thing is like, whenever you do these things and you start setting goals, as nice as all that sounds, I still have a bigger goal. Yeah. And I think my bigger goal is really the icing on the cake. Like if I make that happen, if that really happens, which I envision working with bunches of different real estate agents in different states, if I can even get half of the United States, a good 20 states, and then we all work together to make that goal, that big goal happen.
Right, with the tiny homes, yeah.
Oh my God, that to me, that would be, that to me would be more important, more rewarding, more awesome than a stupid play button. Honestly, I would be so proud to say that I did that. You know, like this happened because I got the ball rolling and we got it together.
Yeah, I mean that's the equivalent to Mr. Beast's 20 million trees right there.
Not
right?
quite, but it's still pretty
Yeah.
good. I'd love to put that feather in my hat. That would be much more rewarding than a play button.
And they say that, you know, the purpose of business is to fund the perfect life, you
Uh-huh.
know, or whatever your goals are. So if that's your goal, you know, that's the purpose of your business. And the purpose of YouTube is to achieve that bigger goal.
Yes.
You know, it's not just about money, obviously.
No, I like money. Don't get me wrong.
It's
But
helpful. You kind of need
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, if I could make this other thing happen, I feel like everything else would fall into place anyway. You
Yeah.
know, I just like, if I focus more on doing something good, I think it's going to happen for me anyway.
Good. Yeah. Keep at it. Make some videos about that.
Every video I've been mentioning it,
Oh,
every
good.
single one of
Yeah, there
them.
we go.
Yeah, and I get
We're
phone
putting
calls
it
all the
out there.
time. Yeah, I get phone calls all the time from people that they want to help, but they don't have really an idea what they want to do either. Like like, oh, I've been thinking about this forever too. I'm like, do you have any information on it? No, I just want to let you know I've been thinking about it. I'm like, okay, you know, you just want to talk, you know. But I think a lot of people, once the ball gets rolling and we start like a fund and everything else, I think it would really, I think we really can make it happen.
Good. And for those of you guys who don't know what she's talking about, she wants to. You want to explain to them what your goal is here with the YouTube channel?
So my 3-year goal is I would like to get as many homeless veterans in housing for free. You know, there's over 40,000 veterans that are homeless. There's a guy out in Austin, Texas that started a tiny home community for veterans that are homeless, which is amazing. There's plenty of YouTube videos about that. I saw that I had the idea in my head, and then not shortly after I was looking up stuff on YouTube, and sure enough that video came up. I was like, wow, that's exactly what I want to do. And then there's a lady out in Detroit. She doesn't just do it for veterans, she does it for all the homeless. So I've been kind of following her. So I'm just trying to know the steps, what hoops I'm going to have to go through to get it to happen. And then I just found out our local real estate board here is doing a tiny home community in Baton Rouge for our homeless, where we've grown in homeless here in Baton Rouge exponentially in the last couple of years. There's been a major uptick. So I just know that once I'm a part of that project, I'll see the logistics of everything that needs to be done. And then I can share my mission with other real estate agents around the country so they can do it in their area. So I want to get a real estate agent in every single state to start their own community. And I'm going to try to get some of these big manufacturing companies that manufacture homes to at least donate one manufactured home per state minimum. And so that way you get the ball rolling to get this really started in each state.
Yeah. I mean, I was just listening to Mr. Beast today. He has an interview with Daryl that just came out today. And he's talking about how one of his first sponsorship videos, they wanted to pay him $5,000. And he's like, well, how about you just double it and I'll give it to a homeless man. And they double it. They gave him $10,000 and he made a video of him just giving that money away to a homeless person. So, I mean, you could get some sponsorships, you know, that to help you out on that mission once you have a big audience, you know. I'm sure with the tiny homes.
I'm just thinking like what manufacturing home company couldn't afford to at least donate 1 or 2 houses per state, you know? And like they're all over the place. And then I don't know if anybody knows this, but Warren Buffett owns Clayton Homes. Even if he was to do, let's just say 50 manufactured homes, that's no skin off his back. I mean, like really nothing. So why couldn't he do that? Why couldn't, you know? And I just think that it can be done.
That's good. I'm glad you got a big picture.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't think big enough. So you got that. You got that milestone for the silver play button and beyond that.
Yeah, but I would rather that happen.
Yeah, that's great.
That would be more rewarding because I could say to my kids, my grandkids, you know, like, look, this happened for people that were much more deserving, you know, in the world. So
that's great. So we got a question from Barbara. She asks, what about Facebook groups that watch each other's videos to up the count? Oh, I worry that watch time for other agents just messes up my algorithm. Yeah, very, very insightful. They are terrible. Do not do them. They will destroy your channel, quite literally.
I've made so many posts about this. It's called
Yes.
sub for sub content, and it's called watch for watch, follow for follow. It's, first of all, let me just tell you 100% it's against terms of service. If you look at the YouTube terms of service, if you say, I'll watch your video and you watch my video, just so I'll trick the algorithm to believing that this is people that are genuinely interested in your content, it doesn't work. It's never going to work, and it's against the rules. If you get caught, not many people do, but if you do get caught, they can take away your channel and you'll never get one back again. The likelihood of them catching you is pretty small, but you know, like
unless somebody gets careless and like makes a comment, hey, I just WLC,
yeah, make
sure to my channel,
go watch my channel. Secondly, of all that, that YouTube's not stupid, so they know that you're taking your link from YouTube, and then you're putting it in a group, let's just say with 5,000 members. Then you put that link in the group of 5,000 members, and let's just say 3 people watched it. So YouTube says, okay, your real estate whisperer, you just put this in a group of 5,000 people and only 3 people watched it. That means your own audience wasn't even interested in what you were putting out there. So why would we serve this to anybody else? So you're hurting yourself. You're really hurting yourself when you do this. It's just a very bad way to serve out your content. It's 10 times better, 100 million times better if you have someone else take your link and share it within a group, like a real estate group. You know, if somebody said, hey, oh my gosh, have you seen Malcolm's new video? It's so funny about tiny homes. That is gold. What you're doing is taking a link, and they call it link dumping, and that hurts you. As strong as this viewer was that shared your link, that one was as good. This is like down here, you know, like you've really hurt yourself, because it already tells YouTube that you don't even know your own audience if they won't watch your videos.
Yeah, it is really bad for many, many reasons. And how I look at it, like YouTube is very, very smart. They literally have the smartest engineers in the world doing this stuff. They know people do this kind of stuff. Don't try to outsmart YouTube. You need to really figure out what works best for your content and start optimizing your content for the platform. You know, a big challenge with that is that it's giving you false data. If you publish a video and you're like, oh, look, I got 30 views.
Oh my!
And now you're
10.5%. No, it's not.
Yeah, but you may be thinking like, oh, that video did pretty good, but really, if it didn't have all those fake views, it may have only gotten 10 views, and then you would have realized, wow, whatever I'm doing in that video, I shouldn't be doing that. You're not going to get that real-time feedback when you have these fake views, so that's part of it. But another part is that, so what Christina said is that they can absolutely see that those views are coming from Facebook. If you go to your analytics, you go to traffic source, and you go to external, it tells you exactly what websites are sending that traffic to your thing. If it's coming from Reddit or Pinterest or Google or Facebook, it tells you right there. So they know that that's coming from Facebook group, and they know that people are playing these games with them. But let's say you get a bunch of people that subscribe to your channel and they're really not interested in your content. That is the worst. And there are many examples of channels out there that they are screwed because they bought fake subscribers. They bought fake bot accounts or people in India that are subscribing. And it's a similar thing to having a bunch of real estate agents subscribe. You know, let's say you have 1,000 real estate agents subscribe. They're really not interested into your content. They're subscribed to hundreds of other real estate channels. They're really not watching any of that content. When you publish a video, it's going to be shown to your subscribers. They're not going to click on it because it's one of 100 real estate channels that they're subscribed to. So your click-through rate percentage is going to be really bad on that video because you have all these fake subscribers. And let's say one of them or two of them does click on it, but they're not really interested and they just kind of want to see what you're doing, and then they back down after 20, 30 seconds. Again, that is a terrible signal to YouTube. That's saying that your own audience isn't interested in your content. So both of those things, it can just destroy like any video that you actually publish and is actually decent. You want to do well on the platform. So I'm also very much against that.
I want to add one more layer to your
There's
sandwich
so many
there.
bad reasons. Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
So the other reason is that you start this channel and you have, let's just say, 100 real estate agents, and let's just say a good 25% of them start watching your videos. Now you've let YouTube know, your YouTube says, oh, your ideal avatar is other real estate agents. So then they start delivering your content to other real estate agents who are not going to watch your 10 tips to buying a house in Phoenix, Arizona. They don't care. And so you're end up spinning your wheels because they keep delivering your content to the wrong avatar, because you're trying to attract buyers and sellers, and the only people that you have on your channel are a bunch of real estate agents.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And they talk about that, how they look at your audience and they try to find more people just like your audience to show your videos too. They
Exactly.
100% talk about that.
Hmm.
And they absolutely do that. And yeah, if your audience watches a bunch of real estate training videos and you can tell they're real estate agents, that's who they think your audience is, and that's who they're going to show your content to.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a terrible idea. I mean, just Google that. Does sub for sub groups work? And you'll find tons of articles saying that is not an effective practice, and that hasn't been popular in years. There was a time when that kind of worked, and you could outsmart Google. You can't outsmart Google nowadays.
Hmm.
Don't even. Yeah, just steer clear of that.
I love the word game the system. You can't do
Yeah.
it.
Just
Just
don't do it, Jeremy says. Christina will answer this soon, but we'll say it's a really bad idea that really messes up the entire analytics with YouTube. Yep,
well,
100%.
because Jeremy got a tongue lashing from me.
Oh, no.
He did.
Yeah.
So he's like, I know better. I know better. But it's like, the thing is that I understand, because we spend a lot of time on these videos and we want people to watch them. Sometimes you feel like, oh my God, I got 7 views on this video. Like, what in the world? But you just kind of have to wait it out. If you have a good content strategy, the algorithm will start to know what your content is about and deliver it to more people that will watch your videos.
Yeah.
Don't try to play silly games, because then a year down the road, you're going to be in the same exact spot. You're still going to be getting 100 views per video, with just those same 5 real estate agents that are always commenting on your videos because they're trying to do the same thing, and it doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah. We had somebody in our group the other day. They commented on somebody else's post, and they're like, wow, you've got 1,000 subscribers. You must be really knowing what you're doing. I'm gonna, kind of follow you in your footsteps. And I was looking at it, I was like, oh, those are all real estate agents, those subscribers. I know those are not real subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
Just because somebody has high subscriber counts and even high view counts doesn't mean they're really the best people to follow. Because just like on Facebook, and you can boost a post, you can do that to your videos as well. You can just pay for more views on your videos. And I know a few people that literally do that on every single video. They pay for views for the videos just because they don't want any video to have less than like 1,000 views on it or whatever.
Right. And I will say that if you don't think that I know that when you're talking to me, you're insane. Like, they're like, I don't understand how you have your subscriber count so high, because my view counts are almost exactly like yours. And I'm like, okay, well, you only have 30 people commenting. And let's break it down, because it's not 30 people commenting, it's 15 people, and you're replying to those people. So now that's your 15, and they're all real estate agents, and you have 20,000 views on a video. That means you paid for it. I'm not stupid, like, I'm not dumb.
Yeah, there's quite a few agents. And I mean, there's quite a few agents that are paying for views as well. And it's not out of malice or anything. They're doing it because they want to get leads for their business. And I mean, I'm perfectly okay with that. That's a model that could work. Ken Posick, his top video has 77,000 views. And it's because he's paying to promote that video because it gets him leads. And that's perfectly fine.
Right. It's like, if you understand how to do it and do it correctly, like, you really, like, don't just, boost a post and hope to the YouTube gods that's going to work for you to get leads. You have to be strategic on what you boost and how you boost it and everything else. It's just like a Facebook ad. Don't be silly and throw money away. And just, there's some people that just need that validation with the fact of a number. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just need to feel good. Like, oh, I get 14,000 views per video. Kudos to you, but it's not real views, like, they weren't really interested. They didn't even subscribe to your channel. Like, you don't have the subscribers. Why? Because they don't like you stuff them with information they could care less about. You
Yeah, I
know?
mean, my video about tiny homes, it didn't do very well. It got like 200 views, and that it kind of hurts. And but I'm not gonna go and pay for views on that. And I think I feel like it kind of hurts my credibility when somebody looks at my channel and got this one with 200 views. But yeah, I'm not gonna go pay for views on that just to kind of impress people. And I
No.
know some people that do.
I've never begged real estate agents to like my channel. I will tell people about that
Yeah,
that channel, but I've never like, "Oh, subscribe to my channel." Now, if somebody says, "Who's crushing it on YouTube?" I automatically go, "Me." I'll put my link in there, but I never have asked, like, "Will you please watch my video? Will you please subscribe?" Like, share, and comment. And I've never, not once, ever did that because I learned from the get-go that was a terrible practice to do. That's one of those things. I wrote a long post at the beginning of the year because I just couldn't believe what I was seeing in a lot of groups that people are just so desperate for that view. And it's like it was told to them that I don't know why this is a thing, but it was told to them that if they have enough comments and likes on the video at the beginning, it triggers the algorithm. Well, that is true if it's your ideal avatar, but like YouTube is not stupid. You're not gaining anything by doing this. Not a thing. You're actually hurting yourself.
yeah.
That's a lie.
Yeah, I mean, I deliberately, like, I'm teaching a class tomorrow. I don't want to tell them the name of my YouTube channel because I really don't want them subscribing. Like, it does me no good. And I don't want them to subscribe to my channel. So Barbara says, "Thanks so much. Hard to hear." And yeah, so I mean, we know what you're referring to. And all I can say is this: if you go on YouTube and you looking up Roberto Blake, Tim Smoyer, Daryl Eves, Nick Nimmin, these guys are all experts in this field, and they all have videos talking about how bad sub for sub is and that it can absolutely destroy a channel. I don't want to say destroy a channel. Maybe I'm being a little.
It can destroy a channel because if you get caught, you'll lose your channel. So that's destroying it.
That it definitely could.
I mean, that's the most extreme case. I bet it could happen. You get caught, that's just it's a bad practice. And don't ever write that in the comment section of any videos. Don't ever write in any comment section of any of your friends' videos, "Hey, I just watched this, go watch mine."
Right. Yeah.
Because YouTube follows your comments too. So you write enough of that type of verbiage in any of your comment sections of your friends' videos, guess what? You're going to get kicked off the platform for good.
Yeah, how frustrating would that be? Yeah. So Jeremy says, "Who wants a sub for sub?" Whoa, Jeremy, don't comment that here.
He was
You're going to see that. You're going to see my face and know that it's me and link this to my YouTube channel somehow. You're smart, man.
He was being funny.
Get that out of there.
Yeah. No. He knows better. He's just being a silly man.
So when you're just starting out, just don't promote anywhere where it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't link stuff. Don't, like, I would say this. If you're going to put your video on Facebook, upload it organically to Facebook. If you're going to put a video on LinkedIn, upload your video organically to LinkedIn. And if you're going to put it to YouTube, organically upload it to YouTube. Don't try to take that link and put it everywhere to drive views to your YouTube account, because most likely people won't click on it. And if they do, they'll only watch for a few seconds because they're on LinkedIn to be on LinkedIn. They're on Facebook to be on Facebook. And like, you're not winning by doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I do it sometimes. Because I mean, I got maybe 1,000 subscriber or followers on my Facebook business page. And if I post a link to it, I just want to, like, hey, I have a YouTube channel if anybody here is interested. But honestly, I can look at the analytics and I get maybe like 10 people will click to watch, will go over and watch my videos. Is never, if even that. I don't ever get a lot of people from any of these other platforms coming over to my YouTube channel.
Facebook watchers do not watch videos. Not ours. Not the type of educational videos that we make.
Yeah. I mean, there's a type of video that does very well on Facebook and a type of video that does very well on YouTube. There's a slight overlap, but not much. There's a little bit of an overlap, but not much.
Yeah, I'm just not a Facebook I used to be. I
I
loved
gave up on it.
I could care less about it, honestly. The type of user that's on Facebook is not my ideal avatar as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, yeah. So when I first got into got my real estate license, I had one video really blow up on Facebook, and it got about 800,000 views in about 2 weeks. Totally went viral. Is 10 things to know before moving to Maryland. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I just got to make a viral video like this every single month. And then next month, I published another video just like that, and I got nothing. And
Yeah.
the next month, try to publish another viral video and got nothing, and then nothing, and then nothing. And it's just a flash in the pan on Facebook. And what I realized is trying to create viral videos is not an effective business model, or at
No.
least it's not a business model that I want to go after. You have professional marketers who try to do that and fail all the time. And I much prefer going after that YouTube. So another thing, so that video, so when I upload a video to Facebook, it get views for maybe 3 to 5 days, and that's it. Facebook does not show to anybody else. It's dead in the water. I upload a video to YouTube, it can literally get views for years and years and years to come. I've
Like
had a video on the first page of Google for moving to Maryland for 2 years now, and it'll probably still be there for years coming into the future. That's why for me, yeah, YouTube is definitely the focus over Facebook.
Yes, I agree. And I loved YouTube and Facebook for quite some time when nobody was really doing videos in real estate. I was one of the few. I think there was another guy. His name was Johnny. I forget his last name, anyways. But he had done some videos. But real estate agents were typically not doing them, and there was just a few of us. And it was kind of like the wild, wild west. I mean, you put out a video and it was going to do great. Not only that, business pages, they weren't suppressed content at the time. So I was having kind of a fun time. I put something out and we got watched, and then it didn't. And it was fine, because I was like, okay, Facebook is kind of like the hot date that never calls you back again. You had a really good time. It was really nice. The dinner was good, but you're never going to get that call. But YouTube is like that long-term relationship,
Right.
It's like, oh, it's a slow burn, and it turns into something magical over time.
Aw. See, that's how your brain looks at it. How I look at it is that Facebook is like flipping a house, and you can make a quick buck on Facebook, whereas YouTube's like investing in rental properties where you're just getting that passive income. It's just passive lead generation. I just get leads. They're just coming to me. Every few days I get a new lead.
Yeah.
And that's not YouTube.
And you don't even though I know that Jeremy says evergreen content. Yeah, but you don't have to do nothing but evergreen content on YouTube for it to be successful. You can people follow trends all the time, and that works on YouTube. You just have to have that those pillars of evergreen content to hold up the other type of content. So you're not dead in the water and only following trends.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that goes back to what I was saying about Peter McKinnon. He was essentially making evergreen content about videos and cameras and stuff like that. And then that allows him to build that audience so that he can make the fun stuff that he actually wants to make, like the vlogs and the stories.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, Christina, we're coming up to 2 hours now. This is our longest live stream yet.
I know, but it's like, I love talking YouTube. It's like insanity to me. I could just sit there and talk about it until I'm purple. I love it.
Yeah, I tell people I could talk about YouTube for hours, and they think I'm joking. I'm like, oh no, I'm not joking.
And that's what I loved about Vid Summit. If you guys are still on the fence on what you're going to do as far as a conference this year, or you're making your conference calendar this year, and you're in the video making field, and you want to know more about YouTube and how to grow it correctly and meet with other people that market on YouTube, not just real estate agents, go to Vid Summit this year. They have the early bird special is now over, but it's still discounted before.
I need to get on that. It's October, right? And I think it's in Los Angeles this year.
It's always in Los Angeles, and they don't invite a lot of people. Like, there's a cutoff to a certain point. There's no more people coming. They're allowed to come. They only sell a certain amount of tickets. So, but it's very laid back. You don't even know who you're sitting next to. So I strongly recommend it if you're really interested in growing your YouTube channel and going to a conference. It's actually, when you leave there, you're going to know that you actually learned something.
Have you been to any other ones? You've been in video marketing world or social media marketing world or any of those?
That was like, honest to God, like before the whole thing with Vid Summit, that was the one I was going to go, was to social media marketing world. And then my dad had gotten ill. So I
Mm,
was unable to go to social media marketing world. And then it seemed like my dad was on the uphills, like he was doing much better. So I was able to go to Vid Summit, which I'm very thankful I did.
I bet.
Yeah. I mean, it was just, the whole thing was mind blowing. It was a good end of 2019, because the beginning of 2019 was the pits.
Oh, jeez.
It was a pits. Yeah, my dad, that was the worst. When family tragedy happens, it's like your whole world shuts down. So it was nice to end out the year with a
Yeah, 2000. You're off to 2020 in a good way. You probably got an extra 5,000 subscribers already so far this year. Something crazy like that.
Well, yeah, no, 6,000. I've gotten 6,000 because it was
So
right.
far?
Yeah, and on before the 1st of January, I hit the 10,000 subscriber mark. That's, it was like on the 31st, I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to get it before the year starts, and I hit 10,000. So I've gained 6,000 since.
I gotta find some tiny homes around me. Maybe I'll reshoot my entire video just inside a tiny home.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Do it. And like link back to a video that is stronger than yours. That's why I was hoping that to lift your video up. I thought my video would do better. And you did get some traffic from.
Yeah, actually, that's pretty much the only traffic I'm getting from that video right now.
Right. So, I mean, it does help. So
Yeah.
don't ever look at your fellow YouTubers within this space as competition. Look at them as people that can lift each other up. And that is another big tip.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting point about what videos you link to at the end of it. Yeah, I mean we were talking the other day about how if you create a playlist and you link to the videos in that playlist, they're more likely to show up next to each other, suggested videos.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean I absolutely believe that, because I mean I was thinking about it, I was like, yeah, if they're watching video A and then they watch video B and then they watch video C, YouTube's going to make that connection, and that's probably partially why they are starting to show those next to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So let me show you my let's look at my analytics for that video, and I think I can see the traffic source. Or actually, yeah, end screen. I got two views from your end screen.
Yeah, because I didn't get poop on that video either. But I mean, the beginning traffic. Look how it started off. The beginning traffic started off really great because I helped with it, but I don't know why
I got some views from Reddit as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then Facebook. I'm not even sure how I got views from Facebook. I'm not sure what those are.
I get some from Facebook as well, but it's not because of anything I've done. I found out that there's a few people that are automatically posting my videos. So whenever I post a video, it's for some reason automatically posted on their website. It's just like an automatic feed thing. But I mean, I'm not doing it, so whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can't stop it. No. Yeah, I got 33% of my views from your end screen. Mm-hmm. And my click-through rate, God, even that's terrible. That guy said my thumbnail was excellent. Oh well, you can't win them all.
The lowest CTR I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, 2.8%.
So I did something kind of weird with this one. And I don't know if this affected it. It very well might. That I actually ran this as an unlisted video for a while. Oh, that's right. And then I was running Facebook ads to the video when it's unlisted, and I was testing out several different thumbnails.
Yep.
So I had like 4 different thumbnails, and I did this for about 2 weeks before I ever published a video, and then I turned off the Facebook ads, and then I published the video, and at that time it already had like a weird it just had some weird data, and I don't know if that's why.
I think that's why it killed it.
It very well have just screwed everything up just with how I published that video.
I agree.
Where is it?
Yeah, don't do that again.
No, I learned my well. I mean, I was really trying to figure out a way to A/B test the thumbnails before I published the video.
If you're going to do that again, if you're going to A/B test thumbnails again, make a shorter video. Don't use the exact video that you're going to be putting in YouTube. Do you understand?
Right. Or maybe I could just unpublish the video and then re-upload it so it has fresh, kind of a clean slate of analytics.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe it's not even a good idea. I just wish I would have had a way to test out the thumbnails before I ever published the video.
Yeah, but you can that's the whole thing though. You can always change the thumbnail. They're like I've changed thumbnails 4 or 5 times, like I do it all the time. If a video is not working, the title looks good, you have a group of friends that are telling you it's not good, then change out the thumbnail. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
That doesn't change anything except for your click-through rate. So anyway, all right, I got a jet. Like,
yeah, what are we doing here? Come on.
I gotta go. I have a life, believe it or not.
All right, if there's anybody still watching, man, thank you. 2-hour marathon here talking about YouTube.
I know, but we haven't talked in a while, so that's what happened.
Oh, we skipped last week, so we had to make up for that hour. Is that what this was? Yeah. Okay, Christina, well, I will see you next week then.
All right, Mr. Lawson, thank you so much for saving us from bad gurus.
All right, for the 3 people still watching, thank you so much. And Barbara, we'll see you around.
All right, bye. Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.